Now we're cooking. It's the coach. You're watching Madden Football on EA Sports. Coming up, running back Dalvin Cook. He's back and coming off a big game a weekend ago, as it'll be the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Chicago Bears. I'll be back with you again with scores around the league at halftime. But kickoff right around the corner. And standing by to call the action, here are Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
EA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to one of our favorite spots, venerable Soldier Field in Chicago. Nothing like the fanfare of introductions to an NFL game, and that was in evidence a moment ago. Fireworks, pyrotechnics, you name it. This crowd is ready as their guys get set to match up between the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And Charles, you look at this Bears team entering play. They come in after tasting defeat for the first time in about a month as their loss snapped a 4-game winning streak. Meanwhile, for our visitors, the Vikings, they come in the midst of a pretty bad stretch here, losers of 5 straight.
So many different reasons teams hit the losing skids, but the best way out of it, something has to happen positive early in the game.
It's the final 3 weeks of the season. Still plenty to play for here as we're underway in Week 15. Now Jones. And he'll take this across the 25. Couple extra yards up to the 27-yard line. So here's the Viking offense making their way out. And leading them out there, we get a look at their 6'3 quarterback.
And what I'm looking for from him today, the things every quarterback is looking to do. Lead his team to a victory. Doesn't matter whether he's throwing it, running it, handing it off, however he has to do it, as well as exhibiting some leadership, that's what he's trying to accomplish.
Now contact up front as penalty markers come in. Who is this against?
Encroachment, defense.
So a jump there defensively.
And it's a killer. Watch the football.
Still first down.
Don't move across the line of scrimmage until the ball moves.
A boost here to start the drive. After the penalty, it's 1st and 5.
All right, here we go. Green, 39.
And the big boys up front in the trenches. What do you think of the O-line, Charles?
I love them.
Now flags will come in. I think this one's going to be on the defense for jumping.
Encroachment, defense.
A free 5-yard.
we're cooking. Hello, everyone. I'm Jonathan Coachman. This is Madden NFL Football on EA Sports. Coming up, running back Dalvin Cook. He's back and coming off a big game a weekend ago. Coming up, we'll see the visiting Minnesota Vikings taking on the Chicago Bears. I'll have scores around the league for you at the half. But it's time for a little football. So we'll hand it over to our broadcast team, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
First opened way back in 1924, but renovated in 2002. There's a look inside venerable Soldier Field in Chicago. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And Charles, you look at this Bears team entering play. They come in playing reasonably well. Losers the last time out, but winners of 4 of 5 before that. Meanwhile, for our visitors, the Vikings, it's late in the year. We all know it. We've seen the calendar for these guys. Their bodies could probably use a break, but they have to push on.
And they're really not as worried about that as maybe we think. They know they've got the entire offseason.
It's the final 3 weeks of the season. Still plenty to play for here as we're underway in Week 15. This is fielded a couple yards deep. Solid return, pretty good field position. They'll start at the 32-yard line. So here's the Viking offense making their way out. And a glance here at their quarterback standing 6'3".
And what's a quarterback's best friend?
Balance?
I think you're right. I agree with you. You know, a lot of guys would say great receiver, right? A terrific offensive line. But I agree with you, balance, because if you can run the ball effectively, that just opens things up for guys who want to throw it and gives you easier passing lanes and easier coverages to read.
And they said balance will be a focus in this one.
Yeah, they don't want it all just